If you could have one superpower, what would you want? This was a game my kids played all the time. And if you were going to be one supervillain, who are you going to be? You can tell I'm a boy mom, raising teen boys. That was a very common topic of conversation. The reality is, you don't necessarily get to pick your superpower. None of the superheroes have. And the same is true of you. In this week's episode, we're going to talk about your coaching superpower, how you know what it is, what a coaching superpower is, and why it's even important. This is the first of several episodes that we are going to talk about in terms of your unique body of work. As a coach, I hope that you get to a place where you can name and claim a unique body of work. The thing that you do different than everybody else's. This is outside of the tools that you use. This is outside of the certifications that you have. This is outside of your strengths. But there are certain components that are going to make up your unique body of work. Usually, for a coach to have a unique body of work, they either have been in the coaching industry for a little while and or they've had an idea that's come along and tapped them on the shoulder and said, I pick you. That's what happened to me when it comes to the endotype formula. The endotype formula was this idea that I think was ready to be born into the world. And if you study that concept, you'll find out that a lot of ideas come along when the time is right. It's like one person on one side of the globe was working on the light bulb while somebody else on the completely opposite end of the world was working on the light bulb, all at the same time. And not because we had the internet and we understood that borrowing each other's research, playing off, it was an idea that was ready to be born into the world. So for some of us, we get those ideas that come along, tap us on the shoulder. Now, if you're not familiar with this concept, or maybe you are, but you haven't named and claimed that unique body of work yet, I strongly recommend that you take a look at Elizabeth Gilbert's book called Big Magic. That is her understanding of the creative process. Elizabeth Gilbert has written books like Eat, Pray, Love, and many, many more, and feels like to her, the way she experiences creativity is like that idea that comes along, taps her on the shoulder, and says, want to play? I pick you. And her book inspirations come to her that way, not as fully formed ideas. So she talks about in that book how she got obsessively engaged in English tea gardens. They just became like this huge obsession. And because she had had this experience before in working with an idea and in writing a book, she knows well enough now to go with it. So she allowed herself to become obsessed with English tea gardens and researching this and planting that and being very involved in them. And as she was doing that, the book idea started to bubble up, the characters, the storyline. And it had at its central theme or a central kind of setting or metaphor an English tea garden. See, sometimes you don't know your unique body of work is tapping you on the shoulder. It just seems like a weird obsession right now. Questions that don't have answers and something you're super curious in. For some of you, maybe you know your unique body of work, or you suspect you might have a handle on it. Awesome. Let's talk about how your coaching superpower connects to your unique body of work. Your coaching superpower are the gifts of your endotype that only you possess. Your endotype is a blueprint. There are 16 different endotypes, so guess I shouldn't say that only you possess it because every endotype, each one of those 16, so for myself, I'm an interpreter. All the interpreters are going to have a similar coaching or business superpower. How do you find out such superpowers? Well, first of all, you'll want to take the Endotype Formula quiz, and then you'll find out your endotype. Are you an interpreter or a visionary or a manifester or a captain? Then you'll look for the graphic that helps you to understand and encapsulates down into a sentence or two your unique coaching superpower. Once you find that, here's what I want you to do. I want you to sit with that unique coaching superpower and ask yourself, how am I doing this with my clients? How am I applying this with the people that I work with? How does this influence my body of work? How did this influence the tools or the certification that I sought out in coaching? How does it give me permission to deviate, expand, or shift from those tools or certification and make that a tool you use, not the coach that you are? As you sit with that, sit with it in a curious way to see how that coaching superpower affects what you do, the expression of your coaching business at this point. Now, as I mentioned before, all the interpreters, endotypes, they're going to have the same coaching superpower. All the manifestors going to have the same coaching superpower. But there are things that make you unique and make your body of work, your unique body of work, that bring the uniqueness to it. Next week, we are going to talk about 3 parts, the coaching superpower being one of those parts. But what are the 2 other parts of you that make you unique? See you then.